Hello, hello. Give me a minute, as per usual. As per usual, just give me a minute to get set up. As per usual. I'm doing things last minute. Let me see. This one, maybe? Cool. Okay. Let's tweet. Honestly, today feels like a non-art day, but I gotta do this at some point. We gotta do this at some point, and today is as good a day as any other. Please, thank you. Let's see. Hopefully everybody had... Oh, I remembered that I messed this up. Oops. Hopefully everybody had a good weekend. Yeah, look. Ugh, I'm dumb. We'll just start that over. And, actually, you know what I probably should do is go like this and turn that off. Yes, that is what I should do. If the music is too loud, let me know, please and thank you. I had a very good weekend because we went out to see orchids with some of my family, including my nephews. And I got to walk with my older nephew because he was off like a shot. And he just kept looking at the flowers and going, "Bromelia." He was right. I mean, I don't know what a bromelia is, but apparently he was correct. Just gotta love kids. Kids are the best. Where is... Oh, I don't know why I clipped that when there's nothing to clip it to. This one can be clipped. Where's my brush is the question. It's definitely not there. I think it's over here if it's nowhere else, but... Unfortunate. It's this one, but I don't know why. Oh, maybe don't clip it to layer below. Don't clip that. How about that? Okay, perfect. Perfect. We figured out how to use our own brush. Good job, us. What was I saying? Oh yeah, he kept saying Vermelia, and I was like, I don't know if that's right, but I'm here for it. Love my nephews. So they're on either end, I think. Yeah, okay. No roundness. How about that? How about that? This has nothing on it. Yes, good job, me. Oh man, okay, hold on. Perfect, okay. We're gonna have to do the same thing for the other two, but you know, hey, we're getting there. I woke up this morning and I was freezing because it's single digits out and the house just doesn't get very warm. Like it just won't quite heat up correctly. When it's cold out and single digits. So I was freezing this morning. But everything is fine now. Hello? Hello? Thank you. I should probably just turn this on and then add in the new layer and then, you know, not have to turn everything back on. Okay. Eat fine. This one as well. Okay. When I do these portraits, I kind of try to emulate the style of the artist a little bit. So these colors are colors that she would have used. But the building styles won't necessarily be like her style. They're gonna be, I mostly use the same color palette, essentially is what I'm trying to say. Struggling to say it, but still trying to say it. Okay, here we are. This one can go now, I think. You guys can't see what I'm talking about because it's a layer, but everything's fine, don't worry. Where are these stars? Oh. I don't really like that. But we don't. We take those off of that layer and put them in the background. Appreciate that I tried. That's not what I wanted to do. Perfect, okay. What do her stars look like? I mean, there's circles, that's a thing. Like, I don't really like those too much. No offense. Not for my own thing. It looks like snow, the way that she has them. I'm feeling almost like we just ignore that. And we do our own thing. Hopefully my mood is not coming across too much. Got some weird things going on in my state currently, so I'm in a bit of a weird place mentally. I'm hoping that's not affecting anybody else. Normally I wouldn't get on stream like this, but you know. Sometimes you do things that don't make a lot of sense. Okay. I don't hate that at all. I actually really like that. I like that a lot. Okay. What next? I feel like I'm gonna skip over the building and work on her face for a little bit. Yeah, let's do that. How about that? How about we work on her face for a little bit? So this is neck and this is face. Okay, we'll put those. I'm gonna put this in a folder. This one. Hopefully that's not. Yeah, it's not bad. Okay, cool. Let's see. Okay. Mostly I need this here. It'll probably change, but I need it for the line of her face. Currently is what I need it for. Also, how's the stabilization on this? Okay, that's fine. Been switching between a couple of styles lately, which is my more cartoony style and this, whatever you want to call this. And they kind of require slightly different tools. So just kind of see me changing things a little bit if I've worked on something that is not in the same style recently. That doesn't look right. A lot of times I feel like I'm just not doing these people justice, but if I don't try, I can never get better. If I'm not doing like a portrait of someone else, I feel a little bit better about it because, like, you know, there's no one that it needs to look like. But at the end of the day, my portraits are not the most realistic thing that you will ever see in your life. Just a heads up. Can you go up here, please? And thank you. Where is... like this color? Maybe a little lighter than that. Eyes are always surprisingly... I'm gonna have to go in. Excuse me having to zoom. But eyes are always surprisingly dark when you actually look at them. You're like, yeah, the whites of the eye, and the whites of the eye is like a dark brown. And you're like, oh. Okay. Should turn this down more. This does not need to be as large as it is. Let's see. Oof, that's huge. That's too small. Oh, wrong. Okay. She has very deep, beautiful brown eyes, so we will try and honor that as much as we can. sometimes like the eyes are so close to black that you can't exactly honor it because you want to do a certain type of shading, but do our best. That should be fine considering. And considering means I will have a lash line over this, so that's why it's fine. Doing your nose justice is going to be a fun time. Just because I'm not very good at noses. Also, this is probably going to have to be slightly larger. Underneath, there's literally like no black, so yeah, this is definitely gonna have to be slightly larger. Right, there's no black underneath, so we'll not do that. So it's just really the highlights, but I also need this to be slightly larger. I always tend to oversize the eyes, and like that's just kind of a stylistic choice that I make. And that's fine. Here probably. Looks good enough to me. Duplicate this if we can. Then be too close. That looks like the right width apart. But I would like to move them slightly. Right there. Okay, I'm not mad at this. Not mad. See it from a little bit of distance. Potentially, we need to move that left eye a little bit. By left, I mean like on the left would actually be her right eye. Yeah, that looks better. I think it looks better. Nose is going to be real difficult, and lips are going to be real difficult. Not because they're actually that difficult, just because I'm not the best artist yet. Let's see, can we do... let's do her eyebrows. Also, they don't look like how I, like, you can see the outlines, like, they don't look like that in real picture evidence. She has fairly thin eyebrows. If we're being honest, do our best to make them look right. Hopefully I didn't miss any messages, which it looks like I didn't. Maybe slightly thicker than this. I think that seems mostly right to me. So layer, let's duplicate, then we'll select it, we'll flip it, and then we'll move it. Okay. I'm not mad. Boop. I think she's looking pretty good. I like how boop became poop. That's not what I said. I'm gonna need, wait, hold on. I need some water. I need some water. Let me get some. Let me get some water. 1 second. Well, that was some cold water. It's quite chilly inside today. At some point, I'll probably have to put up my hood. Not right now, but at some point. So, eyebrows, maybe we potentially try nose. Boop. So, oh man, okay. Why did I decide this was a good idea? That's not even right. So she kinda, wasn't wrong per se. Is that too big? No. We also have kind of this and this right there. And this here is like this, kind of. Actually, so this might be smaller. If we're being honest. Sorry for my terrible outlines, but this is what we need. Currently, this is what we need. I also think that's not quite right, if I'm being honest. It goes kind of like in here and then out. Apologize that this is so scuffed currently. But we're trying to do a new shape of nose that we have not yet done. On a watercolor, please give me a basic brush, thank you. Oh, that's huge. I don't need that, thank you. It's also potentially like not wide enough. That makes sense. Yeah, this is not gonna be perfect. Did I just do that on the same way? Nope, okay, good. Spend a little time on this, and then when I get annoyed, we'll move on to a different section. So... something right here, little here, right there, and here. This whole half is in shadow. Oh, you can't see my hand. I'm trying to show you with my hand what's in shadow. Like, you can't see that. That's not helpful to you. I'm not mad at her currently. I'm really not. Hello? Did you just unplug? What happened? What happened? No signal. You're still plugged in the same way. Hold on a minute. My second monitor is unhappy with me. Are you back? Yes, but OBS was like, I want to be on your first monitor. And it's always a pain. Can you just go up? Okay. OBS is... yeah, I thought Stream Chat might stay up, but that's not the truth. So, it's fine. Don't worry. Be happy. Her entire face might actually also need to be just like a slight bit, tad bit bigger. Sorry, I'm like trying to reposition myself into a more comfortable position, and it's not the easiest of things. But we do some face shading. Whoop, this is tiny now. Can I move this to be slightly larger and move this right up here? Thank you, appreciate you. I need like 10 more screens. I feel like every streamer is just like, give me 12 screens right now. I need it. Would it be terrible if I just went like this? Like, there's gonna need to be more. But like, that feels right. It's not in a good location. Can you just, yeah, thank you, appreciate you. That's not the right blender for this. This is a good blender for this. Okay, now let's do another layer, multiply. You can also erase any of that doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? You know? Let's get a little closer here. Let's make this a little smaller. That does not need to be as bright as it is, but that's fine. Do something like this. That's not right. Trying to bring out some form. You're still gonna need some highlights in here. It's not helpful, thank you. So if you're wondering why I'm doing it so dark, I use multiply to shade, and then I bring the opacity down as needed. So that's why it's dark to start off. I hate that. Let's like undo both of those. Yeah, okay. I hate it. We could probably do a bigger, and it would not look as bad, but that just was not working for me. Hold on, let me see what she's looking like. Not bad so far. Not bad. Okay, hold on a second, my dudes, because I need to take a small break. Small break to pee. I shall be right back. Hold on while I take a small break. Okay, we back. Let me get off of the screen. We'll get comfy. Hello. What the heck? Hi, Jazzy. How you doing? For some reason, my captioner is not working. I do not know why. Oh, okay, it's better. Jazzy, let me tell you something. You are so entertaining. I was chilling in your stream yesterday, and I couldn't get things done because you're just too funny. I wanted to support you, so I was like, alright, we're gonna have to move up Jazzy because she's just making me laugh too much. So I just had you on the background while I was working. I had you muted, and I would periodically, when I needed a small break, unmute, and you just made me crack up the whole entire time. But that's how life be sometimes. You're a funny person. Let me know if anything sounds off. We just chillin', doing some art. What was I working on? You're a bit sleepy. I'm also a bit tired. I'm a little bit off because I don't tend to stream on Wednesdays. So I'm just like, what's going on? But we have a very busy week this week, so. Where am I? Too many layers. Too many layers. I'm never sure where I am in my art, and I'm just like, okay, just keep going and hope everything works out for the best. Actually, this should probably be down further, if I'm being honest. Boop. I'm working on not zooming in and out so much, but whenever I'm working on faces, I just have to do that. Where are the highlights going? There's one here. And there's one on her chin, okay? And here. Noses are my enemy, Jazzy. Really, really my enemy. And I haven't blurred out this whole nose yet. Did you do anything cool this weekend, Jazzy? I got to go out with my nephews, so that was a fun time for me. And my older nephew kept seeing flowers that are called bromelias. So I heard the word bromelia about 20 million times this weekend. Which I wouldn't trade for the world because he's such a sweet little bean. Tiny little peanut that he is. Just throwing on colors here, just hoping that they're gonna be right. I have no idea. Planning a big karaoke stream this weekend. Aside from that, just doing... Oh yeah, I heard you talking about that. And I think you said your stream anniversary is coming up. Is that you? I don't think I could ever sing on stream. I'm already like just a nervous singer, but like I just don't have the confidence to do that. So kudos to you, because singing gives me anxiety. I'll have to come stop by if I can. Let's see. Do some eye work, maybe? Ooh. Okay, we're fine. Sometimes Clip Studio makes me nervous, but everything is fine. So, what color are we possibly? Yeah, okay, better. Better. It's the wrong shape, to be honest with you. It's a very different style than you saw the other day, and that's basically how things are here. I have two different styles. Portraits? I actually have three because I also do abstracts. I have not found my style yet. I can't see and I'm shy too, but I love karaoke. Good for you then. I'm super... I get really nervous in front of people. Even just talking, I get nervous in front of people, which stream has helped me with that a little bit. But yeah, sometimes my voice goes all warbly and stuff, and I'm like, oh, great. Just what I needed. Just what I needed. The other day I was like doing a meditation and decided to record it so that I could listen to it later. And I was so nervous during the whole thing. You could just tell by my voice. You could tell that I was nervous. But only way to grow is to do some uncomfortable things. Boop, boop. I don't even know if I like that, but potentially. Let me turn this down more. I feel like her face has to be bigger, but also that's a problem for later. That's a problem for later. Isn't that bad though? It's a new type of nose that I haven't done before. So I'm like trying to figure out how to shape it right without like making it look non like her nose. Boop, boop, boop. Eventually we take a second to do her lips and we come back because I'm intimidated by this. We're being entirely honest. Ooh, ooh, that sounds rough. Jazzy, that sounds real rough. The most people I can do at once is usually about 6. And even that's a lot. So I would have bolted too. I would have run so fast. Hey, sorry. Something came up that I didn't know I had to do, but definitely have to do it. Definitely very important. Definitely planned. I think streaming helps a lot, especially when you're just talking to yourself for a while, when no one's showing up at the beginning. But definitely when people show up, it feels more comfortable. But this pandemic has definitely not helped my social skills any. Already had social anxiety, and it's like, It just made it worse. If anything. I don't know how the bigger lobbies do it. Like, a couple of people I watch are larger streamers, and they like have 10, 12 people lobbies, and I'm like, how do you manage to not talk over each other the whole time? And I assume it comes with hanging out with them for so long, because a lot of the people overlap, but oh man, I don't know. Probably should start in the middle of this, to be honest. It's a little dark, but we can just turn down the opacity on that. Yep. Yep. Oop, not right. Do you like how like 3 minutes later the little emote turned up finally? So strange. It didn't show up at first, and now it showed up, and I was like, what is that thing moving? I love the animated emotes though so much. They're pain in the butt to make, but absolutely love them. Same. Literally, I'm a little hermit. And I'm like very outgoing with certain people, especially people that I know very well. And I'm never gonna become an extrovert. My dad loves people. Like, he just adores being around people. It gives him so much energy. Meanwhile, I'm over here, I'm like, I can be with people for maybe like 3 hours. And then I'm tired. And I need a break. And I love people, like, you know, love my nephews, love my sister, love everybody, but give me a minute, because I can't. Plus, I just, like, I'm very empathic, so, you know, if there's any tension whatsoever, I'm going to have trouble in a room. But it's okay. We get better with time. We just don't have to be an extrovert. We just have to be a little bit more extroverted than we are currently. I go into a store, I'm like, don't look at me, don't look at me. I just need this one thing. Please don't look at me. My dad's gotten a little bit different in the pandemic. He like tries to avoid people that are stupid looking. By stupid looking, I mean aren't wearing masks. But yeah, he can make friends with anyone, and I'm like, can I kind of have that a little bit? Just happy-go-lucky dude. But we're very different people, so that's okay. Okay. I think both my sister's more of an extrovert than I am, but she's also gotten worse over time. Especially this last couple of years. They have changed us all. Feel like... I don't feel like doing that right now. Potentially this. Potentially we move down here for a minute. Yeah. My setup is so funny. What we're trying to do here? We're trying to do a neck, but you know, who knows if this neck is anything like a neck. Guess I don't know what this music is. I just put on random music and hope that it's good. And I don't know if I like this one or not. All of it's copyright free so that I can post it later. Let's see. Can you tell I really don't want to work on her nose? I should be, but I don't want to. Your model is so pretty though. Like, it's amazing. Your friend is awesome for making your model. But I totally get that. I have not quite chosen. First off, I couldn't run a VTuber on my computer while I'm streaming. Like, I already crash as it is. But, I haven't even chosen what I would brand my stream as if I ever made it to affiliate. I just kind of, like, all of the assets I currently have I've made, but mostly I've made them to sell. So there's like a hodgepodge of all the things that I've drawn. And I'm like, okay, these are fine. Everything's good. Let's just do the nose. Let's just do it. Let's get on with it. That's not it. Is it at the top? So do you more identify with like a hermit crab, or are you just regular crab? Which one do you feel jazzy? I also laughed so hard because you have your stream starting screen, which is like little crab doodles, which are super cute, and then you see like your VTuber room, and it was like the difference in the art styles was so funny. That was hilarious. This must be above, right? This is a problem with too many layers. You're just like, where actually is anything? This is gonna be too big, my little tiny... Okay. And it's still almost too big. Maybe we put a multiply layer up here. It's kind of crazy because the first day you came, like, I managed to get done, I think, 4 crabs. And, like, I can't even finish a portrait. I mean, like, they're very different styles, but I cannot finish a portrait in one stream. Ooh. Cool. It made me laugh. I liked it a lot. little, I'm gonna have to look up coral on its back, like a hermit crab with coral. So that sounds real cute. Let me blend. I don't want her to look bad, but like, I just am bad at noses. Like, it's not me trying to be a terrible person. I just am bad at noses. Which you can see on my thing. Like, my nose is so messed up. Oh, I touched something that I shouldn't have touched. Hello? Are you saving? Yes, okay. You are saving. Where is this line? I want to get rid of it. Okay, perfect. I mean, not really, but like better. A little bit better. Shading is not my specialty. The funny thing is, my sister used to be a lot better at art than I used to be, and I like wouldn't even draw because I just was like, no, she's better. And now I'm here like drawing on stream, just like, yeah, these are my skills as they are. You can either take them or leave them. It's funny how the world works sometimes. Potentially this one needs to be less. I'm mad at that. Let's see. Everyone starts somewhere and you can only grow. Yep, that's a good attitude to have. Tis a good attitude. Honestly, I was so excited like when I tend to have about 2 viewers. And literally no one's from the US, which is where I'm from, because it's early as heck over here. But even just those 2 people, it's awesome. And they've seen improvements in my art already, which is really fun. It's also funny because I like tend to hate social media in general. And doing art means I have to be on social media, so it's unfortunate. Bad choices on my part. Let's turn this off for a second. It's not bad. Not bad. I think her cheeks do have to be done a little bit more. If we're being honest. What is this? Oh, okay, don't need that. I just deleted that and I was like, wait, this must be important. Yeah, it's very true. I literally have myself, like, I have a time limit on social media because I tend to get obsessed with it. in like a non-good way. So I have like, I only allow myself an hour on social media a day. It seemed to work out currently pretty fine. You know, maybe we don't need this and instead we need hair. Maybe that's what we need. Like sideburns or something. What is this? I don't know what that is. You kind of need to have a social media if you're gonna be online, but you know. Something wrong. Like, you'll see if you hang out. I tend to not sketch enough, and then I'm like in the middle of my drawing, and I'm like, wait, this doesn't make any sense. Gotta change some of this up. Something looks wrong here. Why does this keep happening? My poor second monitor is like, I don't want to stay plugged in, dude. And my second monitor is an old TV from our kitchen that I stole because no one was using it anymore, and I was like, yep, that's good enough. Might as well. Better than nothing. Yeah, give me a second. I gotta... Just doesn't want to stay plugged in. Now I gotta make it... What the heck? What am I looking at? Okay, that's better. Perfect. Don't come unplugged again. Please and thank you. Appreciate you, and OBS can hang out. I was like, I brought my bad streamer luck. I've crashed multiple times because like Clip Studio has been upset with me, or my computer has been upset with me. That was hilarious. I was like, this is so relatable. This is the most relatable thing I've ever seen in my life. Because I, like, you know, most of the people I watch, I try to watch a lot of small streamers, but most of the people I watch have things stable and everything. So freaking funny. Luckily, you know, I at least know just to refresh the stream till it comes back. The game you were playing reminded me of something, and I can't remember what it reminded me of. It's another streamer was playing it. But I think there's a lot of games like that. I just can't remember what it was. Whatever it is, it was one of their favorite games. I try to game sometimes, but it doesn't always work for me. The one I'm most worried about is like being muted. Like coming back and being muted for like 30 minutes and not realizing. I don't want that. Please don't do that to me. There's always going to be some level of scuff, but like, please, just not the mute. Just not the mute, please. There are big streamers I watch too that like, one started their stream the other day, muted, and then he realized and he was like, okay, let's start over. He just like restarted his starting soon screen and like was like, hello, definitely the first time I'm on here. Definitely didn't try and start. And he's been streaming for, I don't know, the whole pandemic at least, probably longer. And been a content creator for a long time, so that makes me feel better about myself and my scuffed. Where are these earrings? Where? Oh, here they are. Okay. what was I gonna make these into? Did I have something that these were gonna look like? Like, why did I make them like this? Oh, okay. I get it. Those are really pretty, actually. Okay. Good thing I always put references on a different sheet and make sure that I know what I'm doing. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I should do that. Okay. Oh, Jazzy. It's literally my worst fear. Why is no one talking to me? Why is nobody in here with me? It's like, oh, I'm freaking muted. Usually I know pretty well that I'm muted because I try to have my OBS with my like mic up so that I can check that I'm not muted, but also pretty easy to be muted. In general, and then you're just like, I guess I'm not important enough to acknowledge, and it's like, no, you're muted. Is it okay if I ask Jazzy why you decided to go VTuber instead of just no cam streams? If it's not, just tell me, hey, I'm not comfortable with that. But I'm seeing a lot of people move more towards VTuber models, and like some of their audience is weird about it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm still the same person. I just haven't been introduced to a lot of VTubers previously. There's some, but people either tend to do, or before, they tend to do facecam or VTuber. People seem to stay in a circle, kind of. So like if you're watching a facecam person, they tend to be with other facecam people. But now I'm seeing the lines cross, and that's really exciting. Not that I've been watching streams for too long, but don't know if I like this or not. We'll see. We'll see if I actually... Actually, we want a bright orange. We want a more bright orange. Then we want yellow because that's next. Probably a pen. And this might be as detailed as we get, to be honest. I might just copy this. I like this color palette a lot. I literally copied this lady's color. Well, I didn't literally copy, but I took inspiration from her color palette. And it's very different than what I would normally do. I also have my stream Sizo. I don't know what Sizo means, but I love that. All your friends are VTubers. That's awesome. I'm glad you embraced it too, because I really like your model a lot. And I'm sure that it's nice to have something that feels more like you. I know that dysmorphia can be difficult for so many people. I've luckily never experienced it myself, but man, it's a rough one. Safe. Oh, okay. Good to know. Did not know that. Good to know. Yeah, I'm not into not safe for work stuff. Like, I'm perfectly willing to have a mature conversation, but also, like, not that. Thank you, please. I'm good. And by mature conversation, I mean, like, a mature conversation, like, not, like, just shooting the shit, you know? What am I doing? I'm trying to duplicate this, and I'm like, I don't know which window this is in. I have no idea. What are you talking about? I need to kind of just change this, because they're not going to be perfectly matched. I saw someone the other day and it made me really upset, but they're a VTuber, and VTubers tend to have, let's say, ideal body, and they're ace, and people were harassing them, essentially, and I was like, why would you, what? First off, it doesn't really matter that they're ace, because you shouldn't be harassing anyone, but second off, that's even worse, you know, like, especially considering looking at their bio and it was like, I'm ace, please don't be weird. Like, what do I want to work on next? Her face is looking pretty good. I don't want to do her hair currently, just because. Well, I'm gonna have to plug in my computer. Give me a second, because he's dying. Okay. He's better now. It's like, yay, plugged in. Probably work on the shirt. Do I want to work on the shirt? Sure. Okay, right here. Here is the shirt. Hello? Did I not? Okay. Half the time I have no idea what I'm doing. This doesn't look right. And we might have to change the background a little bit because I didn't smooth this out before doing the background. Like an idiot. That's okay. Yeah, I totally don't get it. It's so awful. I think we just live in hypersexualized society, and it becomes horrible. Like, one of the people that I follow is an ace lingerie model, and it's made me really, growing up, like, essentially denying that I was ace and not knowing what that meant. Even my own brain I have to question sometimes. So, like, I kind of get where people are coming from, but also, can we just learn to be better humans? Because, like, this is not acceptable. Like, and by get where people are coming from, like, I know how I was brainwashed growing up, and I acknowledge it, but also please change your brain. Like, please. Because that's just not okay. And it tends to be dudes, which, like, I don't know why that's acceptable, but I guess it is for some reason. Nothing ever gets done about it. There's a lot of good dudes out there, but there's also a lot of not so good dudes out there. Just creepy people. My dad, actually, too, like, the other day, I love my dad dearly, but my cousin's having a little baby girl, and my mom was like, well, I can't give her, like, it was about colors, and my dad was like, your mom invented a new thing, which is, like, I think it was, like, gender hate or something, and I was like, Dad, that already exists. So, like, I don't know how you didn't know that didn't exist. That already exists. It's terrible. He's like, that's awful. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but it exists. Promise you. Like, oh, I hate that. And I was like, yeah, I know, Dad, it's awful. World is awful. But it's kind of nice when you have someone he's a very traditional dude, so him kind of learning. He's very liberal as well, but him learning some of this new stuff. First time he had to write that he was cis on a form for work, he was like, what the heck is a cis? I was like, you're a cis, Dad. You're a cis. And then I had to explain to him what it was, and he was like, oh, okay, but, like, I don't understand. And I was like, that's fine. You don't need to understand, you just need to accept. You just need to accept it. To say it's both, like, amazing to see how far we've come, and also, like, just very upsetting to see how far we still have to go in terms of a lot of different things in society. Because we have come a long way, but not far enough. What am I doing? Okay. Where's my stuff? It's like I'm not on a multiply layer, that's where it is. Oop, nope. I hate that line. I used to be so good at clothing, and I swear I lost all of my ability. Next month might have to be more of a let's practice everything that we've learned previously month. It's not bad. It's not the best, but it's not bad. Keep doing that. It needs to be on a multiply layer. I promise. I don't know what day it feels like, but definitely does not feel like a Wednesday. Maybe hair. Maybe at least this thing. Wow, she looks crazy without that on. I don't know how crazy your art looks until you look underneath. Yeah. I totally get that, Jazzy. I am not, I just don't tend to be out too much. Like, I'm out online, and if anyone asks, I'm like, yeah, I'm ace, it's fine. But, like, I'm uncomfortable saying so, just, like, out of context. And it's a lot, like, luckily I went to a very LGBTQIA plus friendly school where a lot of the people were bi or poly or trans or whatever, and I was able to learn a lot because I think we all grow up in some way with some form of prejudice against the community until you actually learn. And like, I'll admit, I still have internalized ace phobia towards myself. Everybody else, I'm like, yeah, great. You live your life. You do you. I'm thinking about myself and I'm like, oh, you need to make different choices. And it's like, oh, that's how I grew up and I need to let go of these beliefs. But I catch myself in some of those like really strange places. It's hard to get out of them. And I feel like we just need to educate more. Like, luckily I went to a very good school for that. But like, I can only imagine where some people are coming from, having absolutely no idea about any of this stuff. There's still stuff I'm learning. Like, I consider myself pretty educated, but I can't know everything either. Like, stuff I learn every day. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. Good to know now. Luckily, my parents and my sister are very open to the whole thing. My sister actually knows more than I do on a given day. Most of the hate comes from people not knowing what's going on. It's usually internalized issues that you either got made fun of growing up or you just learned from your parents or your friends, you know, that was wrong or whatever. Like, even, like, I love my grandmother, but my grandmother, are we back? We back? Are we back yet? Wow, what a mess. What an absolute mess we have here. It happens pretty regularly, if we're honest. Sometimes my computer just decides, hey, I'm done. And I'm like, okay, you're done. Literally everything was just like, I hate you. And I was like, okay. Everything was just like, no. Clip Studio was just like, I was trying to draw, I'm like, what's going on here? We're even. We're even. Jazzy, if you show up, you'll see that stream crashes like once a week for me. I do not have the best streaming computer, if we're being honest. But we do it anyway, so we enjoy it. This has to be bigger, actually, if I'm being honest. Not a lot bigger, but just a little bigger. See, you see that I brought the bad luck to your stream now, though. This is the streamer luck that I have. A lot of times if no one's here, I just don't restart the stream. I'm like, stream crashed. I'll see you guys later, bye. Because usually it's like an hour in and I'm like, I don't know where Alex is, I don't know where Pink is, but if they wanted to be here, they'd be here by now, so... We'll just let them come to the next one. No, Alex and Pink are both in school, so they cannot make it to everything. I appreciate when they can. I mean, I assume you're out of school, Jazzy, but you might also be in school. I just kind of assumed you weren't. You go to school, Jazzy? That is an entirely possible possibility. Boop, boop. Okay, everything's fine. This is why sometimes when I want to play new games, I tried to play Minecraft once and my computer was like, I hate you. And I was like, okay. But... I've been out of school for... Gosh, what is it? 3 years now? It feels like both a decade and also like 2 months. How long I've been out of school. But yeah. Glad I'm done with that because liked school well enough, but it was a lot. people is a lot. It's gonna be fun to try and get the soundtrack from. All right, let's see. I mean, potentially we go back to these buildings. I like started on this headband and I'm like, that seems more difficult than I want to deal with currently. All right, here's the background. Okay, here's the buildings. See what we can do here. Also need this. Perfect. I don't tend to do buildings, so these might come out awful. For all I know, I have no idea. Poop. Alrighty. Oh, that's really okay. Potentially we lighten this so that we can kind of see the windows that I'm drawing instead of nothing. Hopefully this childish building works well enough. Myself. Hopefully we don't crash again. Those are the two hopes. The two hopes of the stream. Alright, now this one. That is very dark. I almost feel like this should be Arctic Phone. I have seen people play it. I have not played it myself. I would love to play in a lobby. I don't know if my computer could handle it, but I would absolutely love to. And also, I would need to be able to play with my stylus because Alex calls me touchpad master because I use a touchpad in all of my games. I tried to use a mouse once. It didn't really work out very well. We're being honest. I've seen like people do animations on Arctic Phone too, like that are really cool. I love when you see like an artist lobby and it's just like super amazing. You're like, how did you do that in the little amount of time that you had? Funny thing is, even though I stream, I'm not really like a gamer too much. Like I do play games and I do Saturday Stardews at this point. But like one of the things I've never played, even though it was a huge thing during the pandemic, is, what am I looking for? The word I'm looking for, Among Us. I've literally never played Among Us. I watch so much Among Us content and I've never played. What size was it for like that one? I don't even know, but we'll do this size. Ooh, okay. Lighter. Let's save this. It's actually coming out a lot better than I expected. I never know what I'm doing going into things, but it usually comes out better than I think it will. I don't know, you can draw a pretty mean crab. I like them. At least. I would love to play a Gartic Lobby. I don't know if I could stream it, but I would love to play a Gartic Lobby. I don't have a Discord yet. I don't know if I'm ever even going to get a Discord. But like, to even set up anything, I would need one. You know what I mean? I have anxiety talking to other streamers. I'm like, oh no. I don't want to seem like I'm trying to get clout from anybody or anything. I'm just trying to be friends with people. Just trying to make some friends here. Oh, I forgot you played on a Switch yesterday. I was like, you're a gamer. How are you avoiding the mouse? You played a game on a Switch. That makes a lot of sense. I hate the mouse. And my setup, like, I'm sitting in an armchair currently. I'm literally sitting in an armchair. So where a mouse could go, like, only on the arm. So, like, good luck with that, I guess. I just am gonna use my touchpad. Because I stream off a laptop. That's a 2-in-1 laptop that I got for grad school. That's what I stream off of. I think her hair, excuse the noise. I think her hair is dreads. Or like potentially knotless braids. I don't know, twisties? I don't know. There's some sort of protective style. So that's gonna be a fun one to try and figure out. What? Oh, I see what I did. I'm not that bright sometimes. I just turned that whole layer into a multiply layer. Not what I wanted to do. Can we put this down here so that we stop making 12 million layers that are not useful? How am I going to do this? I have trouble with even just regular straight hair, and I'm going to try and do this. okay. It's not bad so far. It's not good, but it's not bad. That's essentially what I say with every piece of art I make. I'm just like, yeah, it's fine, I guess. Guess that's fine. What is this one? Meh. It goes flying across the screen. Whoops, sorry. Well, this is gonna have to be toned down like a ton. Are we still in the green family? Yeah, when I color picture hair, it's green, and I don't know why. Oh, thank you, Jazzy. I appreciate that. I really try to make it as comforting and inclusive as possible. Usually I'm just talking to myself about random stuff. People will just show up and I'm just like ranting to myself about random things that mean nothing, but I do my best. I tend to like to render to other art streams, and that's kind of the vibe I was going for. Like something you can just chill and render to when I made my stream. But we're still learning. So I actually got like a random follower yesterday, which was weird. One of the things I'm really hoping for is to make it to affiliate at some point so I can make my own emotes for myself. That's what I want. Really bad. But we're also not trying too hard because we have normal life going on. And unfortunately, normal life takes precedence over stream, which is upsetting, but also the reality currently. Where is this? Here it is. Okay, perfect. Also, let's see. Well, that's not what I wanted. I heard that yesterday, and I didn't have the time to type, to be completely honest with you. And literally nobody said anything about their breakfast. And I was like, should I type that I had powdered donuts for breakfast? Will people judge me? Ever being an American who ate donuts? But I usually, whenever anyone comes in, I'm like, how's life? Like, yeah, that's totally a good introduction. Totally what people want to hear when they come in. Oh, they were delicious. I prefer a jelly donut, but you know, donuts, love donuts. I did not realize that was a channel meme. I'll have to, next time I'm in your stream, I'll have to answer with something interesting. Today I actually had cake for breakfast. I allow myself to be unhealthy for breakfast, and then everything else during the day is super healthy. But breakfast is unhealthy times. So I eat very unhealthy at breakfast. I always have a pear, but like, I love me some sugar and some coffee. I feel bad because, I feel bad because I am an early morning person but like Miu is up even too early for me because we're in different time zones. So she's live when I'm like still asleep, and I'm like, wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. How are we doing? I have something you can't see in front of this, so I don't know where we're at. It's really the shirt and the headband mostly need to be done. Honestly, it took me a little while to get comfortable talking to myself, and then I was like so comfortable talking to myself